What was I going on? I have no idea what you're talking about. Does that make a difference?
It does. Yeah, a lot. Eh? Okay.
Today's topic, second half.
Quick one.
Just a quick one before our friend comes over. She's got a really important interview tomorrow because we want to help our community. It starts with yourself, it starts with your friends, then it starts with your family. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't help those around you, who can you help? So we must help our friends.
Your eyes are a bit red. Why?
Really?
A little bit.
It's because I'm just passionate about value. So let's begin.
That is a lie.
That's not
We
true.
don't know what value is. We don't know why it ended up
I don't know
there.
how it got here, but at the end of the day, I'm happy it got here. Do you know why? Because the thing about love build, the thing about rrrRAT is that I'm still trying to talk to the mic when it's right on me. Is all these different things are linked. They're all connected to one another. So you start one thing and pull and pull and pull and pull. Before you realize it, you're pulling on the whole clothing. And so, what is one of the most succinct ways to describe this? Two. One of the most succinct ways is a value judgment.
We haven't done two yet, have we?
Well, we did binary tool.
We didn't talk about T and U.
We did in the binary tool.
Barely.
And so it's a value judgment. The two
is that what it is?
Well,
is
it's
that
many
why
things.
value ended up there?
It's many things.
Bro, I feel like I need to know because right now, inside me I'm thinking there's value in value being there. And we're not realizing that value because we're talking about random shit. Random.
Two. She's frustrated.
No, two. We're not talking about two. You're talking about the value of two. Why does your tea look so white?
Because it's a second run through.
Okay.
My sister, you added the value.
How do you know?
I cannot know
Prove it.
because I do not know what the hell this is. I was like, fantastic. She's adding to the fundamental. I'm proud of her.
I think we're gonna have to. Can we pick another one? Seeing as we don't know what this is, and we can go back and the perks about streaming is everything's on the internet.
Bro, I was so ready, bro.
About what? Okay, talk about it, but I don't know.
Oh, now I talk about
Go, bro. Oh, don't be a party pooper. It's because you know what? He wasn't ready. He wasn't prepared. All right, now he's like, it's your fault.
Okay, well, apparently, value.
No, don't delete it. Go and check where value came from.
Bro, nowhere.
What are you talking about? So we added it at some point. There was a pre-value and then a during.
There was a line before value.
Yeah.
In Obsidian, I'm pretty certain if I type in value, nothing's going to come up.
But we added stuff later on, which means it's on YouTube. We've only added stuff when we were talking about it, and we were only adding stuff when we were streaming. We would have said why we added value.
No, bro, you didn't. You said there's two things I want to add.
Based on nothing? Is that what you're saying right now? I just added stuff.
No,
and you
based
didn't
on
do
your...
any sort of checks. You just let things... Bro, this is the problem, alright? You need to be more of a man. Right? Take control of your woman. Alright?
Listen, mate. If you don't let me talk about value right now...
Your woman is this beautiful baby right here. Right? You just let me write all over her without vetting. I could have written anything.
Value is fundamental. You're right.
What is it?
And I was literally starting, and you were like, no, I need to know exactly what it is. I'm like, bro, I don't know.
Okay, you start. I'm going to check on YouTube where value came from.
Good luck. How about that? Good luck.
You're not going to help me.
Are we stopping this?
No. Stop. No, don't stop. just do the thing. Do the magic. Go on. Bring value out. Find value in value. You've got this. I didn't mean to gaslight you from 7 directions.
Look at the video.
Sorry.
Go on your phone. check your messages, have a look at our thing, and when you come back, you'll have a myriad of things to go through.
So you're gonna do it.
Go!
All right. When in the future you're being investigated for harassment and abuse, right? You're gonna know. I'm gonna point them to this day in the wonderful month of July. Be like, I should have seen the signs. You're a walking red flag, you are.
See the boys, you're too soft, you're a wimp, you're too hard, bro. Like, there's no winning in this life. There's no winning
with women.
With women.
Oh my God. Value was added when we added everything.
Go on. Go on.
Look at this.
Yeah, go on.
What's that? It's too far. It's too far.
It's not. We're not writing that fast. What are we like here? See that prediction? You're writing it out right now.
Are there many left? Yes, it's loads. Look, you said I wrote it. Rewrote it. Out of your mouth.
No, you little snake!
It's out of your mouth! Which means, where did we get that list from? Where did we get that list from? You wrote it down. You wrote it down on a piece of paper, remember? And then I wrote it down over here. You said, I've got a list. I'm going to write down a list of things that I want to cover, fundamentals. You remember?
Yeah. Oh, no. That might be in the bin, mate. That might be in the bin.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I just wrote it down anyway. I didn't explain them.
Okay, so now we know at least that it came from you.
No, no.
First of all, I didn't write a single thing on that piece of paper. You were holding it weirdly close to your chest.
Let's get some context.
All right.
Oh, they can hear us. That's cool.
So I wrote assumptions.
The fuck is trust?
We just did trust.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in trouble. We can do a similar version for this one. We have an infographic for everyone.
And then a link to, you don't have to write this, but down here is a link to exchange's path, because a path is a history of exchange, something that we defined.
But paths aren't fundamentals? No, they're not fundamentals. Paths are definitely.
Oh, I'm looking at them. Oh. Dyslexia. Like your values, not value.
Mashallah.
It's like your values, like ideals.
Okay. Okay.
Fucking moron.
Chill. Wait, who's the guy that I just said the fuck is gross? Alright? He's not a moron. We're all morons. The collective we. Alright?
Collectively. Okay.
See? See? Bro?
Sit in front of the camera. I apologize.
I forgive you, and I too apologise for gaslighting you.
Wait, I think I was the one gaslight.
We both gaslit our fair share.
I give as good as I get. I drink red wine. Okay, so this was pretty, so I'm not going to delete it.
Hourglass and that.
Yeah, it was a bit of an hourglass thing.
Alright,
So-
now we know. Guys, we're really sorry for that. We're really sorry, kids, that you had to be here to see mommy and daddy fight. Right?
But sometimes you got to work things out, right? And instead of being perfect, having systems in place to work things out is actually a lot more reasonable.
100%. What is that?
So this is a geometric
Triangle thing that spins.
This is a geometric shape. The reason I drew a geometric shape was the idea that, so one of the three goals, so first one is education, second one is visualize ideas, then it's visualize society, and then it's not really in this order, but $4 for 4 kids, for HUD kids. So the second point, visualize ideas, it kind of came from there. So just to give you some context. And so the idea was, if we, okay, let's try here. Each of these points are people. And the way they connect together is basically the structure of the community. If we were to synthetically create this and then have a block, this block could be a ledger, this block could be a meme, this block could literally be a piece of cardboard. One person draws something on it, gives it to someone else. Another person draws on it, gives it to someone else. Something that everyone in the community interacts with in kind of like a cyclical basis. So this interaction happens and it moves and it moves and it moves and it moves and it moves. And this thing constantly changes with the interactions.
What? Okay, alright.
Now, the idea behind this was, if you have a community like this, you can, bit of echo here, you can triangulate value, was the idea. And so let's say,
what do you mean by triangulate value?
so let's say here you have a YouTube video. And the idea is to pass this YouTube video through the community. You do this, right? You find a video and then you show it in front of your family. There are going to be bits. So let's say we have a timeline of the video. This user likes this moment. This user likes this moment. This user likes this moment. This user agrees that this moment's the best. This user agrees that this moment's the best. And what's kind of happened is you can try. So the idea is you're cutting away all the excess, and you're refining the thing that is valuable to the community. So based on visualizing ideas and using the community to kind of purify information that the community engages with, this was an attempted outcome. That our ideals would be these geometric constellations that have certain kinds of symmetry to them, potentially. Now, the idea would be that each community would either start with a certain set of values. These shapes are absolutely tapped, we'll keep it 2D. Or they start off with a list of wants, and those wants eventually lead them to a certain value. whatever the process is, the communities will start to claim certain values. And so that's the kind of the topic of today. It's not too deep, it's quite intuitive. It's that values are either a thing that we use to filter reality, or, so you can kind of see it both ways, by interacting with our environment, we get closer to what our values are. And I think that's a fundamental, what's trust? This guy's tapped. So these are a fundamental property to community.
What's trust? You have to be there, guys.
That's it. That's value.
Okay. Couple of questions.
I'm so glad.
Where do they come from?
This is a fancy font.
How
Where that from?
does one / a community decide values? Start there, I guess.
So one value, one reason why this is like this, as opposed, that's actually the create symbol, so I shouldn't really use that. But one reason why this is like this, as opposed to like this, is because there is something about aesthetics. So the idea of beauty.
BEA.
I knew.
You look so confused.
I looked and I'm like, that ain't it. It's too petite.
You've done it.
I'm just efficient. Why would I use a sound that I don't hear? Beauty.
So why don't you write BUTY?
Or
Or
See,
if
now
you
we're
want to make
getting
it even
somewhere.
shorter, BUTI. Booty.
It's no coincidence that booty and beauty sound the same. So the idea of beauty,
Nice.
and
I'm so surprised you got that on the first go.
I'm an aesthetic guy.
But not a beautiful man, clearly.
No, clearly not. These are all types of values that a community has. And so I think partly there is a organic side to this.
Yep.
And
like
I think
biology.
Biology is one.
Society.
And I think the other side is physics or maths or geography.
But isn't that biology?
Like,
I'd bet that we've evolved to like symmetrical things, or we'd evolved to like shapes that manifest themselves in nature.
there are certain shapes that when you see them, you know they're not natural. Like, you know that a human has made them.
Like what?
What would be an example of it? Like something with extensive straight lines.
Like the Roger Penrose infinite triangle.
How many of them do you see in nature there?
None.
Oh, how many do you see physically? You know what I mean? I'm talking
every 28 years. When do you think I'm going to hit something? Because I will.
No, I don't think you will. You are hitting something. You're hitting air molecules. This is the pyramids of the Aztecs. There is similarity between this and the pyramids of Gaza. Then you have like
Giza.
Giza? You have like mosques
And mollusks.
and mollusks.
Mollusks are a type of non-animal kingdom things, like insects and that. That's what mollusks are. They're not bacteria. It's like a type of outside of the animal kingdom, outside of the plant kingdom. There's like all of them, man.
I thought they're eukaryotes.
Never heard that word in my life. See? Did.
Oh.
Okay, yeah.
And okay.
What's that? Sorry, that was a mosque, what was that?
That's like a castle or a church or something like that. There are certain shapes to us that are pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right in terms of chemistry and biology. Like they're very like similar. Like maybe this one feeds into this one, and there isn't an actual direct link here. Because, for example, okay, there are some stones. I think they're in Scotland, where they have like a hexagonal pattern. Have you seen them? And they're like this. And it's at the sea, and they're literally all like this.
What's that?
Have you not seen? Hexagonal rock formations.
Ireland.
See, there you go. This isn't the exact image.
How do you know so much? That's so funky. These are real.
That's real.
Naturally occurring hexagonal rock formations. Lads, yeah.
How incredible is that?
Black magic. Back magic?
Wait, what? Hold on.
Back?
Astaghfirullah.
Black magic fuckery.
Oh, Black Magic Fuckery is just a subreddit of like, this is crazy. Like, how is this real?
Yeah, it is indeed black magic.
Right, you walk out, imagine you see this for the first time. It kind of goes against the idea of you can tell what's real and what's made by man and what's made by right, because there's some kind of structure, some kind of order. What I want to bring into this is there are also hexagonal biological chemical structures. That's still spot on.
Yeah.
Right.
Benzene.
Benzene. Not like this.
The benzene ring. Google benzene ring. See?
You know so much.
I don't.
So where is benzene? Ah, it's organic. It's organic. Exactly. This is exactly this. And so within us, or within our biological makeup, we have geometric structure. And so I think you are right. It is biology in that sense, because like if it wasn't biology, we wouldn't have an affinity towards it. So I've come round to your opinion. So you have this geometric structure on our fundamental building block scale, and we try to scale up. We try to express that externally now with Taj Mahal, or with Pyramid of Gaza, or with a Rubik's Cube, or with whatever these different things that we try and make a door frame. And so you have these different kinds of values that come from our organic substrate.
Yeah.
At the same time, morality. Trying to write with an eraser. I think morality is like a dark blue color, trustworthy color.
Blue is trustworthy too.
Yeah, apparently that's the correlation that we got taught in media studies. That's why
Is that why it's people's favourite colour?
Like Halifax, they use dark blue for that reason.
Facebook.
You always want to ruin it. Yeah.
They use it because of that. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it's an accident? Really? Really? In that massive bush of yours?
But the thing is, the phone book was yellow.
Yeah, bright.
Bright yellow. You
To
want to know what that
attract
is?
you there.
You don't know what that is, kids. And so morality, this is a claim from me, is actions.
That might have been before we knew that blue was the trustworthy colour and blue was people's favourite colour.
So apparently the reason is purple was a really expensive colour to create.
Mm-hmm.
Very few things are purple, and the things that are purple are very difficult to get them to stain clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So purple symbolizes royalty because of how difficult it was to create purple. And I think blue has a similar narrative behind it in terms of like military or something, or banks or something. So it shows status and power based on that. So it's not intuitive in that sense. It's not innate. It's a happenstance based on.
Why do you think it's people's favourite colour?
Blue.
It's the
I
world's
didn't know that. You said
colour.
that. You said that the other day. It's the world's favourite colour. I didn't know that. So I've only recently come into contact with that.
Apparently it's not even close.
Really?
Yeah. You're going to fact check me.
I just want to know the whole list. What's the least favourite colour? List of...
I'd say like yellow, orange probably.
Yeah, I think it is actually.
That's why I picked yellow as Swap Shop's colours.
The most popular colour in the world is blue. The second favourite colours are red and green, followed by orange, brown, and brown.
Yellow is the
I've
least
never
favourite
heard
colour.
someone say brown's my favourite colour.
Brown used to be my least favourite colour, though I also like viscerally disliked purple for some reason.
Yeah, purple can really be annoying. And it's quite hard to match purple with other colours.
I liked lilac though when I was younger.
Which one's lilac?
A very, very light purple, like
Okay.
a dreamy light purple.
Yellow is the least favourite colour.
Preferred only, yeah, but
Preferred only by
left-handed people are
5%.
like 5% of the world, so is it a surprise?
10, I think.
I'm trying to get more of us.
I want to try to unite. So what, lilac?
That was interesting. Both men and women dislike orange as they age.
What?
Or like orange, but I think it's a dislike.
Lilac would be kind of like this. Out of all these, this would be the closest to lilac.
Yeah.
And so my claim here is morality are actions that benefit a community over time.
And the individual.
I'm not too sure about that.
Really?
So you can have situations where, so we'll do a little simulation over here, where each circle here is a moment, right? That could be, depend on the scale. It could be daily, it could be literally moment to moment, it could be yearly. And in this moment, your community is acting to maximize their enjoyment, lower their suffering, typical type of life behavior. So here, maximizing suffering, da-da-da, here, da-da-da, here, da-da-da, here, da-da. You would think, so long as you're doing that from moment to moment, you're going to be heading in a good direction. However, there are certain actions that can, so if you kind of imagine here in terms of, I guess this would be like value or enjoyment or ease. There are certain things that peak or certain things that are really high on this chart. So technically I could just keep going for this, right? I go for this, I achieve that here, and then at the next moment I go for this again and achieve that here. Surely this is a society that is going to be on the up. Now let's give some historical examples of what this might be. Finding a city with a wall around it, besieging it, blocking the river till everyone surrenders or dies on the inside, walking through the gates and plundering every single valuable inside. That's here for the winners. Because you get all these things that all those individuals on the inside have been cultivating for all these years, all the things they hold sacred, all the things they put value in, all the things that they require to survive. You can get all that by taking it from them. Da-da-da-da. And yet, right now, our morality would state that that is a bad thing, even though it's valuable for the community. The Romans did it. In fact, basically every person who has great near their names was doing this. He was going for the absolute maximum all of the time. And so the phenomena I want to draw here is you can go for things, you don't have to go that extreme, but you can go for things that are good. From moment to moment, they're good. From moment to moment, they're good. But here on a scale of good and bad, somehow, or I guess it wouldn't be quite like that. Somehow, you've now swayed into the bad territory. And so my claim is that morality, which is a value, is the idea that which actions over time don't lead to bad things, but lead to good things. And I think that's biological as well, in terms of there are feelings that people feel when they see homosexuality. It's not a logical thing, it's a visceral thing for the vast majority of people. They see two men holding, well, in a lot of countries where they are the most against gays, especially, you know, gay men, they hold hands, which is a fun little dichotomy. But if they see men, so I couldn't say the men holding hands, but if they see men kissing, they also kiss, but see by kissing romantically, maybe because they allow so much man-on-man action that they're like, why would you need that, bro? I'm touching my man all the time. I don't know. But if they see a man-on-man kissing romantically, they feel it in themselves, like, ugh, what is that? That's disgusting. If you had a society where there was loads of like only gays, you wouldn't be able to further the race, right? So potentially, I'm not saying that visceral feeling is a type of morality where morality is long-term decisions. Same with women. Women that churn out babies are probably more favorable than women who are like, I don't want a single baby.
Favorable in
and
what
so
sense?
that's why
I'm a bit lost. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm bringing it right back.
Okay.
That's why I think when you said morality is good, I said actions that benefit a community over time. You said and an individual.
I believe it's at the individual level.
I think often morality comes at the individual's expense.
Example, please.
Like women who don't want to have kids. There's a.
Are you making a moral judgment about having children?
Like. Women that choose not to have children, there's stigma associated with that. And stigma is a social pressure that they.
But that's not morality. We're not talking about morality here, are we?
Okay, so how is morality?
Like murder.
Okay.
Is murder good or bad for the individual?
Okay, bad.
So I would argue that the reason why morality is not good not only for the community but for the individual is because they exist in a community. Every individual in history basically has existed within a community. And remember when we were talking about Kropotkin and mutual aid, it wasn't like survival of the fittest didn't look like that one guy who was just like ruthless and killed everyone else. It was the people in a community that had the best relationships and could survive together across time and perpetuate their genes. Because if you're always that guy going the hardest, you're gonna be tired, and when you are, you're going to get killed. Like someone's gonna come for you, because why wouldn't they? Right? You've taken everyone's stuff. They're just gonna wait for you to get tired. Why wouldn't they attack at that exact moment? You can't. Again, no man is an island, and that's why it's in your interest to be moral, because it keeps you on the in with your community. Then we could have a whole conversation about morality on an individual level from a psychological perspective, and whether we intrinsically believe that murder is wrong, because if that thing was done to us, we wouldn't like it. And so there's guilt associated with immoral acts. Now there are the idea for acts that are moral and immoral do seem to change over time as we get more and more information. So I think a lot of people now don't see morality as bad because we've, on a societal level, at least in the West, a lot of people accept, or at least a lot of people who seem to be liberal, accept that sexuality, it's not chosen, it's determined. And so on that level, people are like, if it's not
a choice,
then how can
you
it
be punished for it?
Why should you be punished, and why shouldn't you be allowed to live your life? And then people are able to think, if that was me and my preferences were bad, how would I feel? Would I want to be persecuted for them? I'm not saying that's how everyone logically thinks, like everyone sits down and has that internal discussion with themselves. It's just one way of, I think, explaining why morality's become, or the things that we consider moral across time change. I think part of it is from access to more information.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we have like animals. The more we learn about animals and animals being sentient beings or being able to feel things, it changes people's attitude towards animals, right? So yeah, I do believe that but I also see your point that a lot of the time morality can seem like it's at the expense of the individual. It can feel like that. I'm not sure if it truly is. Maybe at times, but I also think morality is a guiding force for the individual to have a good life.
Maybe for this to be internally and externally consistent, morality that is good for the group, if it can be stable across time, over time, it needs to also benefit the individual. Otherwise, you have a misalignment there, and that morality will be less likely to be persistent throughout time.
Yeah.
So here, where do they come from? So I think biology, and I think from our fundamental building blocks to our cells to being a mammal.
But if that's the case, then why aren't values the same across the board?
But there are certain values that have a lot of.
But what about eliminating all the values that we have in common?
Okay.
What about all the others?
How do we get a list of that?
Theoretically, let's say some people think it's valuable to lead meaningful lives, and other people believe that it's valuable to be happy, or they value individual success versus collective success. Like, how does a community decide that? Is it just a bunch of people whose individual values seem to align, form communities, and then those are the community values? Like the stock bros on Reddit, they have aligned values, right? And their values are whatever their values are. I wouldn't join that group because my value doesn't align with them. But I'll join another group. Those guys wouldn't come with me to the other group because their values don't align. Is that what it is? Is it self-selection? Do people build communities around values?
In ethics and social sciences, value denotes the degree of importance of something or action, with the aim of determining which action is best to do, or what way is best to live, or to describe the significance of different actions. So in that sense, it's kind of like sorting and sequencing.
Value donates the degree of importance of something or action with the aim of determining which. So you have the hierarchy of values. Which actions are best? Which would mean that they're values. I feel like people have a hierarchy of values.
Exactly. So when you were saying, oh, some people think I want individual success or I want community success. So part of me thinks that's not quite the same thing. it might be a subgenre
Of what?
of the overarching values of an individual, but it feels like an individual's phenomena.
So you're saying that neither of those are values. They're either above or below values. They're either a manifestation of a bunch of values,
Yeah.
or they're something that feed into a value.
Yeah. That's what it felt like at
Fine.
first glance.
What are the values? These all look very Christmassy.
Yeah, they do, don't
Right?
they?
Except for the top left-hand corner.
Do they have examples? Okay, yeah, here.
Oh, are they Pinterest? What was that? They are Pinterest.
It's not Pinterest, it's 3D.
That little pin in the corner. Top
What
right,
this?
top left-hand corner saying.
That's because I've got Pinterest app installed.
Oh, okay. On your laptop.
Yep. Because what you can do is this. I don't think they can see this, but and now I can show. It finds everything that's similar to that image. And you can kind of like zoom in onto a certain section here, and then it searches that section of the image. Really useful. Creativity, honesty, spontaneity,
these you've identified as
integrity, success,
these sound more like values to you?
kindness, achievement, perfection. Yeah. These feel more value to me. How about you?
Yep. So go back to the other Google sheet.
Physical values: accuracy, beauty, cleanliness, excellence, hard work. Interpersonal values: equality, community, fairness, trust. Psychological values: gratitude, goodness.
What's the difference? I'm not quite seeing what the difference is, but that doesn't matter. So, okay, so what if, now go, sorry, I remembered what the, so if everyone has a value of like, can you go back to the picture? Thank you. If everyone's got a, let's say, arbitrary, everyone's got a value of determination.
Yeah.
Some dudes have not dudes, but some people have a value for orderliness and other people have a value for loyalty. Are we saying that those values come from the individual and then individuals come together and build communities around shared values?
I think it's, so at the start I mentioned it's a two. I stipulated it was a two-way.
Santiago. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was that?
The glasses.
Oh.
Glasses saved my eye.
You're about to get skewered. Be there in 5. I took the wrong turn. Okay.
Okay, good. We'll wrap this up.
Okay.
That you have kind of values that are created internally.
How? See, this is what you said that initially, and I think instantly I jumped off board, and I don't know why I started running.
Ooh.
I don't know why I panicked. I'm sorry. Go on, carry
on. So you know how you have the YouTube video, and then you feed that to your family, and this is the good old Chomsky. Chomsky. Chomsky's going to have certain things in here that will be part of this list. And if the community can have a little talk about it, I think that, and then they could be like, yeah, actually, we like this value, and we like this thing, and we're going to add it to our values. And so you kind of like stop bundling your values. Is that how it works?
Is that how it works?
Go on, I'm all ears.
Why are you using such light colours for?
Make it thinner if you want.
So, is that how it works? Or do you have so here I would argue that there are values like commitment that are more closely related with other values. Like you've got, let's see, equality, goodwill, love, loyalty, respect for others, community. they're all
Similar.
closer related than others. And so if I come in and I've misread the room, which I often do with my family,
Yeah.
and I'll take this in, and Chomsky's like,
all people that make money are the devil.
Yeah.
He's never said that, but yeah.
yeah, like something that my family disagree with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not true for all communities, because my family's not a community. I feel like a community is something you kind of choose, and a family is bloody stuck with me. I love my family,
Sure.
but so they say this and completely reject what I've said.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something that similarly aligns to, let's say, one of our community values is equality, then it's more likely that we're going to have, if I show something about honesty, or if I show something about loyalty, or if I say something about self-giving, they're going to be more responsive to it. But if I show them equality, if I show them something about systemization,
Mm-hmm.
it might not resonate as hard.
Of course, yeah.
So what I wanted to say is, firstly, the way you described it, it was kind of like values. Where do they actually come from? And that was this original question here. Values, in my opinion, seem to be emergent almost.
Yes,
They're
I agree.
They're not so much decided.
Yes.
But they can be.
Yep.
And we can kind of decide as a society we want, or as a community.
Like the Ten Commandments, that's like a value narrative.
Yeah. But again, those were emergent. They were emergent out of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Today, they're no longer emergent per se, but
they're like condensed nuggets of values.
Gold, yeah.
But they were, I agree, emergent. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what was this point about? That I just want to clarify, because
So in the past, you would have a community in the jungle or whatever, and someone on the outskirts would interact with a new mushroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he ate the mushroom, and he feels sick, but he kind of goes crazy, and then when he's normal again, he's like, guys, yo, that was incredible. The way I see the world is different now.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can kind of make a value judgment in a sense, like, is this a good mushroom or a bad mushroom?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the community interacting with their physical environment and trying to figure out what's a good decision and what's a bad decision, what's a good action, what's a bad action, etc. We're in the informational age, so a lot of things that our community is interacting with is information.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have these communities, we make them synthetically, or they have them already in WhatsApp groups and whatever, and they interact with a certain YouTube video or a TikTok clip. That back and forth of interacting with that information, then you triangulate, go back to the beginning, you triangulate, if there is anything to triangulate at all, at some kind of crux, some kind of point, which can then either add to your existing values, create a new value, take away from existing value. So the idea is, come in. Hey, come. Oh, you fancy!
We're still streaming.
We're still streaming. We're almost done now.
You want to come and say hello?
We're talking about values.
Sakanda's the only one that watches this anyway.
Look how fancy she looks.
I can't see her, mate. Come here.
Woo! Yeah.
There. Say hello.
Hello, world.
It's me, Sanya. Okay, that is a question that I'd like to cover at some point.
Okay.
Which is a value judgment about values.
Exactly,
but I can't imagine a world in which this is not a reasonable question.
It's subjective.
Is it always, though? It's like, where does morality come from?
Okay. We can make a TikTok about it.
Yeah.
We can ask people tomorrow about it.
Yep. We
So
can pause this for now and come back to this after we've finished with Sanjay.
Okay. So this is kind of the idea of values, that I think we both agree that it's somewhat emergent.
Yeah.
It's some kind of interacting with your
So let's
community,
write it
interacting
down
with people. the community then comes up with their own set of values.
But also, I would say,
and you can share
and this
values
is my
as well.
claim, do you back it? Communities are built around shared values.
I feel like they're strengthened by
Then what, how
having
do you-
shared
how do you-
values.
How do you build a community? Like, around what is a community built?
Because I think today with the internet, you're like, oh, I love weaving baskets. Oh, so do I. And now you have the basket weaving community. So yeah, sure, you naturally have shared values. But in the past, communities were a necessity. You need to belong to a community in order to survive. And so, are you really coming together because you share values, or in the Wild West?
Did you have shared values then, or did you not?
Like in the Wild West.
But how were
You're
they
on the other
communities if they
horse.
didn't have shared values? Google the definition of community.
Okay.
I can't imagine what
What is community?
what is a community. Yeah.
I hope I'm not in the camera. Oh my God,
Oh!
Yeah, big old boots. They're fancy, aren't they?
She's 6 foot in there.
Yeah.
6'3".
Don't say that on TV.
A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Characteristics. That's very similar to value.
And the second one is
The condition of sharing or having certain aptitudes and interests
so
in
there's
common.
commonality. So there has to be something, right? So it's having something in common. It doesn't necessarily have to be values.
A community.
So could me
is
and Ben Shapiro be in the same community?
I think so. If I hope so. So maybe not, but I hope so.
But then wouldn't we have shared values?
Yeah, but we agreed at the start you have these overarching shared values, like don't just be a stick is like a shared value. You know what I mean? Like don't be just annoying.
Okay.
Respect people's space.
But so communities are built around something. Doesn't have to be values.
Shared commonality maybe. But maybe it is just values, really general values. Just not specific ones.
Are you putting it out?
Values.
Value.
So there's a little bit more to
There's
discuss.
a bit
but
more
we
to
got
discuss about this.
we got
Got some of it.
We got some. Let's start it. Let's start it. Okay.
Bye guys. Bye Skander.
Bye, Skander.